Hey guys, what's going on? Inception here, and welcome to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have the new out of position promo cards that have been leaked. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of very cool options, but a lot of these options are going to be players that kind of change their base characteristics, right, to be a different type of card altogether, right? Like you could see that Fred doesn't have defensive stats. You could see a card like Reese James doesn't have defensive stats. So it's a very interesting promo in that way, right? Like if you're playing a three-back formation with a card like Reese James playing at right mid, it wouldn't necessarily be bad, but they do remove some of the things that make them who they are, right? So it's a very interesting promo, to say the least. No Portuguese card, so absolute L in my opinion of a promo. But yeah, we'll be taking a look at each individual card, what they can offer in game, and all of that good stuff, right? So apparently these are going to be the official stats, maybe, you know, because it looks like it because of the way that they're kind of formatting like the defense and the physical and stuff. But yeah, so with Mohamed Salah, guys, nothing too crazy special there. It's just a position switch from right wing to striker, right? So if we take a look at Salah's card in game, it's like this, right? So the inform version is right mid, right wing. If you go to the rare gold version, it's the same thing. So that position change is for him to play the exact same way as he was playing before, essentially, right? So you're probably going to give him like a Hawk chemistry style or something, right? Because the Hawk gives him nice shooting boost, the pace is there, the physical is there. So definitely a huge plus to work with for a card that's going to be either controlled or explosive, depending on what you're going to go for, right? Because controlled or explosive, that's going to be like pure play style based, right? Like it's very important to understand that. But yeah, with him, it's more just like a position change. Nothing like crazy drastic on the characteristics of the card. Cancelo is the same thing. The characteristics of the card is the exact same thing. It's just basically a center mid version of the card. Now, as you guys know, in last year's version of the game, the team of the season, I believe, it was the high worker that won. Cancelo card was one of the best midfielders in the game. Like you can actually use him as a center mid, and he was one of the best. The way that this guy would track after players on the pitch was fantastic, but he was also a high work rate, right? So with this card being a high medium work rate card that you can put in the center mid position, it definitely adds a variable to work with when it comes to your squad building, right? Because if you're making like a Portuguese team, for instance, in the future, if they drop like a Nuno Mendes card and then the right back is like a sick Diogo Dalot card, that's something that you can work with, right? In my case, with Cancelo, the thing that would be cool to work with for him is if I was doing like a 4-3-3 formation, right? Where it's the one CDM and then the two center mids, right? And he would just be one of the two center mids, a person that could push forward, come back, offer an attacking and defensive presence, and be fantastic. I'm going to be honest with you guys, I haven't used Cancelo yet this year, but I have heard very good things from him so far, right? I've heard people really like the card. They think he's absolutely fantastic. So definitely going to be a W card to get, if that is going to be the consistent case with him, right? So again, just a position change, but his base stuff has remained the same. Reese James is going to be an interesting one because I do feel like this is probably going to be a fun concept card, maybe, because he is a stocky body type, 5'10", high medium. I don't know if they're going to give him like a weak foot and stuff too, which I feel like would be kind of important, right? You can see that they've removed the defensive stats on the card. So with him, it probably looks like he could potentially be like an Emil Smith-Rowe. I'm not going to lie to you, like with the way that he looks in game. 88 pace, 85 shooting, 86 passing, 86 dribbling. He has the physical. Yeah, it depends what the stocky body type is like in game for him. I think that's going to be like the main thing here. Theo Hernandez is a left wing card. So obviously, if you are trying to replace someone like the Raphael Leão card, right, you would get the French AC Milan links while working with Serie A, right? So that's going to be like the main thing for there. They do have to give him a weak foot and skill move, I think, for Theo Hernandez to make him interesting, because you're probably going to give him a finisher chemistry style, just like you do for the Raphael Leão card. Finisher, right? Because of the massive shooting boost, the dribbling boost that you actually end up giving the card as well, which I feel like could be very important, you know, for this card, because with Theo Hernandez being one of the two options you can work with, Rafael Leão is 135k, which is a pretty reasonable price considering the types of links that you're probably going to be working with, right? But yeah, he's going to be interesting because they removed his defensive stats too, so we'll see what he's like. Fred is another card that I could actually potentially see being decent, to be honest with you. Maybe if they give him like a work rate change or something, because I think he's not a high. I haven't seen his card in game yet. He is a high. Okay, so this card actually has potential then. Yeah, Fred actually has potential because you could potentially give him a Hunter chemistry style and he would be a really good card to use attacking and defending wise. So that one actually looks very interesting. That one could be pretty decent. It could be like that, like a potential Phil Foden type of card. You know what I'm saying? Like you play a 4-2-3-1, you play him at left attacking mid, and then you go from there, right? So definitely some interesting variables to work with there for sure. Perisic, I could see a lot of people being super interested in. I'm going to be honest with you. Reason being for this is because, and this depends on what they do, right? But if the card turns into a different work rate or whatever it is, it doesn't even matter if it gets a different work rate. This card on a shadow chemistry style, right? As a person that plays for Spurs, gives you certain links in the Premier League, right? It's really, really cool to work with because he's got the 5-star weak foot. He has the 4-star skills. So if you're playing some sort of formation where he is going to be your attacking and defensive oriented midfielder, this could be a fantastic option to work with, especially if you get a card like a Davinson Sanchez, right? In your team, playing him at center back, giving him that link in that area. In the future, maybe they do like a Heung-min Son card, or if you have the inform card, you basically just go from there as well, right? So some very interesting stuff too with this card. I could see him being a really sick card to get, right? I don't think he's actually going to play in the cam position. When you have defensive capabilities, you can play them cam, but with the way that they dribble and stuff, because in his case, he is a 6'1" player, high and average plus body type, doesn't have like that Havertz thing, you know what I'm saying? Outside foot shot is a huge deal too, because if I'm playing a card like this in the right side or on the right side or the left side, it like doesn't really matter. I have to do like this with my fingers for you guys because I think it's like opposite for the camera, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah, but no, he could be very good. And definitely looks like an interesting card. Triore plays for, is that Stade Rennais? I think it's Stade Rennais, right? Triore. Let's see here. Yeah, so he has the right back card. He is high, medium, average body type. So excuse me. So this card is a card that you are mainly going to be using as an actual CDM, or you play him at CDM to begin with, and then you rotate him into the right back position, right? That could definitely be an interesting thing to work with because with him, he has the right base mechanics for the FIFA meta this year, in my opinion. Like, I think he definitely has that thing where, you know, he offers you that physical presence, he offers you that defensive presence, which, again, could be very good to work with, right? Berardi is the next one. You know what I like about this promo is that there's a lot of different cards, you know? A lot of different cards. Let me see here. So we have Berardi. So Berardi's card, let's see. Let's see. So Hunter chemistry style. Yeah, this card could be really good too, actually. Oh yeah, he has a lot of potential. Also has the outside foot shot. Oh, for sure. What's his position? Center forward, right? Yeah. That's not bad, actually. I could see him being like a really good, a decent, like maybe physical kind of oriented striker because he's 6 foot tall. The medium work rates is not great, right? With him being a center forward on that position change, I feel like that might be the most ideal position to use him, like either in the cam position or lam ram, like that type of area for the most part, right? Because, you know, having those traits is definitely very, very helpful to work with. Fofana as a center back is very interesting because Seko Fofana just has that right base thing to work with, right? Like he has the body type, he has the 4-star capabilities, he's got the high work rates. I will say that it would be better if they were to give him a medium high for that new card, because medium high just seems to be like the go-to with center backs. Like once you have medium high, it's just very, very well balanced in the team. It's always nice to work with. So unless it's like a medium, a medium is fine too, depending on the card. Like for instance, if it's Alaba's card, like Alaba is fantastic to work with, right? So no big deal there. But yeah, Fofana as a center back has massive potential, base lengthy as well, on a shadow chemistry style. I've actually seen people use this card as a cheaper alternative to work with their League One players in their team, and he does a pretty decent job, right? He's got the high work rates and stuff, just a bunch of very good things, right? Dumfries is another card I can see being pretty good because his fullback card is very physical and defensive oriented, right? So he already has the right base card stats for strength. You give him a shadow chemistry style. This is fine in the center back position. Like, just look at him, right? He's a lengthy card. You give him a shadow. The acceleration is lower than the sprint speed. Dribbling stats will be improved on the new promo version of the card. And then defensive capabilities, when it comes to the actual stats, will be significantly higher as well, right? So, yeah, he could definitely be very good. Also, giving you Inter Milan links. So let's say, for instance, you are trying to put Edin Dzeko in your team. You literally could just use Onana, Dzeko, and Dumfries, and you would be good to go, right? So obviously, definitely another card that I like a lot being added into the fold. Lucas Vasquez could return to his former glories of last year, where a very underrated card. You know, I always like these types of cards because they're versatile monsters, right? And with this card being an actual cam card, he could potentially be a decent cam. But like I said, when you have defensive capabilities, you're probably going to use them as a center mid in game for the most part, right? It's always nice to work with the defensive stats that could attack and defend, right? It's a very huge part of the meta in FIFA nowadays, right? But yeah, Lucas Vasquez has all the right things. He's got a great work rate. He's got the skill moves and the weak foot, right? You give him a shadow chemistry style, he's an all-round beast, right? Because base card stats for shooting, passing, and dribbling will also be significantly increased for a card that also has a speed dribbler trait too. And then obviously in his case, you can actually rotate him in game, right? Depending on where you want to use them. Cards like that are sick because, let's say, for instance, you're playing like a 3-back formation. You can totally use that card in the 3-back formation and go from there, right? So definitely very cool there. Masrawi is... You get to these points where I feel like there are cards that people use because of the variable around them more than the actual quality in game, right? Oh, lean body type. So lean 6 foot. Actually, lean 6 foot's not too bad. Dribbling is set up strangely though, because if they give him the upgrades, this card on an engine chemistry style, right, would still need a massive shooting boost because that's what the dribbling is kind of formatted like, right, with the pace, the passing and stuff. But yeah, maybe they do a good job with him. It just depends because he doesn't have defensive stats on this card. He has 63. So it looks like, by the looks of it, it looks like a card you either give like a Hawk to or a Hunter to, who could be pretty decent, but they probably have to give him like a weak foot and skill moves too, because 3-star is low for a card that's going to be obviously the newer rated version. So these are the cards that I actually like a lot. So you see Suso having an actual center mid card. You guys have no idea how helpful that is because he's obviously going to be an attacker, but Suso could be potentially similar to Bernardo Silva, right? Because Bernardo Silva, the reason why it's nice to put him in the team is because he is a center mid card, right? So if you're playing a 4-4-1-1 before the game starts, it's very, very convenient to work with. This card on a Hunter chemistry style is kind of like in a similar boat, right? He's a smaller player, doesn't have the weak foot, but very different in regards to the work rates, right? The work rates is definitely a huge difference because having high is absolutely massive to work with, but obviously in his case being a high-low, that could be sick to work with too. Like, let's say for instance you're playing him in that left attacking mid position with the high-low work rates on a Hunter chemistry style. It's a very cool link to work with, playing him in that center mid position and then rotating him in game to the main attacking positions in the midfield setup or the actual attacking positions, right? So's card, I think So will be a beast. I've actually done reviews on that Bundesliga account where I'm doing the fullback reviews, so the team doesn't matter. This card has a lot of potential because he already has defensive stats, right? And we're talking about like the potential upgrade in the future. So because he already has defensive stats, it could be a similar situation to someone like Valverde where you don't have to give him a shadow, right? You give them that architect chemistry style so that those long runs, they're very good at doing. They can pass the ball really well, have the physical presence, but they already have the right pace and defending capabilities, right? So could be very good. The only problem is that he is a right back, right? So because he is a right back, that's where people might just give him a shadow chemistry style regardless. But the thing is that if they actually format him a certain way, I could see people actually playing him at right back to start off the game and then actually switching him to CDM in the actual game, right? Because CDM position, while being a lengthy player, 6 foot tall, lean body type, all that kind of stuff. 4-star weak foot. It's a huge plus for a lot of variables with the card, right? Triore will be the last one. I'm actually not familiar with this guy at all, so he's got to be new because I actually don't know who he is. Striker from Marseille. Oh, center back from Marseille. Is it this guy? Oh, that's a concept card if I've ever seen one. That's probably going to be like fodder for a lot of people. What does he look like? Yeah, that's probably going to be fodder for a lot of people. It depends if they make him like a lengthy striker or something. It could be interesting. Just depends. But yeah, he looks... I don't have much to say about him. He's a medium. He's 6'8". No wonder they made him a card. He's so tall. I take it back. Maybe he might be interesting. The medium I don't like, though. Yeah, medium I don't like. I like the medium lows, high mediums, you know? Those usually go to the... or those are usually the go-tos when it comes to... or work rates for like the striker position and stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. That's the leaks for the out of position promo. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video today. If you guys ever want to see these conversation videos, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below. I will catch you guys for the next video. Peace out, my dudes. Love you guys.